Hi folks, it's the 1st of April 2024 at 5 and that was the April Fool's joke. I'm up in North Yorkshire and I've heard an old saying yesterday. I don't quite know why I'm telling you this. It's something I've known all my life, but it's nice to hear it repeated. It goes like this. It goes, one rook is a crow, but loads of crows is rooks. Because rooks are gregarious and crows aren't. So if you hear a lot of cawing and croaking in the background, it's because there's a rookery near me. And anyway, I digress. This is about the Saturn-Neptune conjunction. Having said that, what I just said, there's a buzzard flying overhead over me. I love buzzards. They're amazing. They mate for life. The Saturn-Neptune conjunction. If I were to bring them down to one word for each, then Saturn deals with structure. Now this can be legal structure, business structure, building structure. It can be construction, destruction, destructure, instruction. But the word structure, the rules, the buildings, the conditions, the boundaries. This is what Saturn deals with. And yes, he gets more flexible as we age. And then there's Neptune, and if there's one word that would be used for Neptune, it would be dissolving. And often dissolving is seen as slipping away, releasing, letting go, things falling through your fingers like sand and water. And Neptune's associated with some difficult energies like, just fatigue and tiredness and weariness and confusion and nebulousness and gullibility and addiction. But the dissolving element of Neptune isn't just about things slipping away. It's about the refining, the purifying, even the distilling. And that brings out the purity, which is why Neptune is also associated with spirituality. So when we talk about the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, then it's about, on the one hand, dissolving a lot of the old structural boundaries that have held us back for a long time, whilst on the other hand, it's about bringing structure into the imagination and the creative output and one's spiritual designs. Saturn is conjunct Neptune on average every 36 to 37 years. I've got a lot of clients in my database from the 1953-54 era when Saturn was conjunct Neptune in Libra. I was born the year after that. I've also got a lot of clients in my database from 1989, 88, 89 I guess, when Saturn was conjunct Neptune in Capricorn. And now Saturn's going to be conjunct Neptune again. As we speak, Saturn is 5 degrees away from Neptune and closing fast. And by the time we're into early June, Saturn and Neptune will both be getting ready to go retrograde, and they'll be standing still only about a quarter of a degree away from each other. But they won't be conjunct. The conjunction won't happen till February and March of 2026 in 0 degrees of Aries. The reason I'm going on about the Saturn-Neptune conjunction at the moment is because, like rooks and crows, particularly crows, which are solitary animals, astrologers don't mate well in captivity. Astrologers, the sensible astrologers have a dignified demeanour when talking about their contemporaries. But there's not many astrologers actually get on with other astrologers. But I'm pleased to say that with this I can break the rule with a few people. And one of them is someone that I am becoming more and more of a friend with, and that's a lady called Penny Thornton. She's been doing astrology 10 years more than me, and I've been doing it 40 plus years, 45 years. Penny is the doyenne of modern astrology. She is one of the top 2 or 3 astrologers in the world. Her way of doing astrology is quite different to mine, but we found, synchronistically, that we work quite well together. We've just finished a big event near Bristol in England about a month or so ago, and we're going to be working again at the event Shifts Happen, where Penny's going to be talking exclusively on the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, particularly around how it's going to affect not only individuals but the collective. And she's particularly going to be looking at stuff around the British royal family and the kind of dynastic perspective on both Russia and America. Make no mistake, the Saturn-Neptune conjunction is going to be dissolving a great deal of the old dinosauric structures of our planet. And we are heading into unprecedented times. And Penny is perhaps better suited than anyone else I know in the astrological world to be able to give an objective, detached and impersonal perspective on this in a way that covers not only the economic and the political, but also the personal. I'll be fascinated to hear what she has to say. But then, this event is shaping up to be the event of 2025 from an astrological perspective. When I first started putting this together around January, February of this year, I had no idea what I was letting myself in for. But now to be hosting Penny Thornton and, of course, Rick Levine and Nick Campion and Alex Trenoweth and my good friend Amanda Ellis at an event called Shifts Happen, at a time where human history seems to be going through such a concentrated and compressed shudder. The old structures are falling away. Saturn and Neptune are at the very end of the Zodiac and then the very start of the Zodiac. The difference between 2959 Pisces and 00 Aries. This is why I haven't done a video on Neptune into Aries yet, because I know that from a geocentric, Earth-based perspective, Neptune moved into Aries a couple of days ago. Something quite synchronistic happened to me at that time, but that's a story for another time. At that moment. But Neptune will retrograde back into Pisces later this year. I prefer to keep my peace on this one temporarily until Neptune moves into Pisces, into Aries from a heliocentric perspective, which is still a few weeks away. More on that closer to the time. But to be organising a conference of some of the most intelligent and somewhat radical astrologers in the world at this time of history, it seems more than synchronicity. It seems like serendipity. And the response has been amazing. We've got people coming from Korea, from Italy, from Australia, from America, from all over Europe. And we are now basically half sold out. So if you want to come along, there are still tickets, and there will still be for another week or two. So no rush, but sooner rather than later. So you know how to get hold of me if you want to come along. steve@stevejudd.co. It'd be lovely to have you there. Because you'll never get a chance again to see people like me and Amanda Ellis, Penny Thornton and Nick Campion, Rick Levine and Alex Trenoweth, all on the same stage. Once in a lifetime. But then, Saturn-Neptune conjunctions only come about every 37 years, and never in human history have I seen one, has there been one, at 0 degrees of Aries. Catch you later, folks. Bye.